of clinical care insight. From today, we are starting a series of lecture on osteology, a branch of anatomy which deals with the study of bone. The branch of anatomy which deals with the study of bone. Okay, so osteology is a branch of anatomy. Okay, now what things we will cover in the osteology? We will deal with the entire aspect about the bone. Okay, but in today's lecture, first of all, we will see our lecture outline, and then we proceed ahead. So today's our lecture outline is, first we talked about the histology, then we will make one difference between the osteology and the orthopedics. Okay, because there is one confusion. The student thinks that osteology and orthopedics, they are the same thing, but my friends, they are two things. Okay, they are two things. Then we will talk about basically about the specialized connective tissue. Then we will talk about the cartilage and bone, and last the microscopic structure of the bone. Okay, microscopic structure of the bone. So let's begin our today's session. First, I should define the meaning of osteology and orthopedics. See, osteology is a branch of anatomy. And you know that anatomy is basically a sectional study. Okay, anatomy is basically a sectional study. We dissect the parts and we study. Okay, this is called the anatomy. Now, orthopedics is one of the branch. Okay, the osteology, the osteology is one of the branch of anatomy in which there is a study of bone. Study of bone. Understanding? Clear? Now, the anatomy not only deal with the human bone. Remember, anatomy, or we can say the osteology, not only deal with the human bone, it also deal with the animal's bone. It's also deal with the other animal's bone. Okay, and there is a great use of osteology in the field of paleontology. Okay, and some of the evolutionary study. What happened? If bones is studied in a detailed manner, then we can able to correlate between the human bones and other creature bones, and can establish one link between the us and the other animals. That's called basically the evolutionary link. Okay, we can establish a evolutionary link. It about the osteology. Now come to the orthopedics. Orthopedics is basically a branch. Okay, it's a branch of medicine. It's a specialty. It's a branch of medicine. Okay, which deals with the study of human bones first of all. Okay, and their abnormalities. Collectively, we can say the musculoskeletal system diseases. Musculoskeletal systems, we can say the abnormalities. Okay, their congenital defect. Everything is studied. Okay, and we can say that diagnosed and treated. Okay, in the branch of the orthopedics. It's a specialty. Understanding? So it is basically same, the study of bone, but along with the bone study, normal structure along with their abnormalities. Clear? No doubt? Okay, shall we move ahead? Now, once we defined the meaning of osteology and we can say the orthopedics, Now we move ahead and describe about the histology. Now you tell me, what is the mean by the histology? Today's session is very basic, okay? So histology. Whenever you came across the word, okay, in which in last there is a called logy, it means it's a study. It's a study. And histo words denote the tissue. So histology is basically a study of tissue. It's a study of tissue. Clear? No doubt? Now, how many tissue we have? Can you name them quickly? How many tissue we have? Yeah, epithelial tissue, very good. We have first the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue, okay. Then, very good, we have connective tissue. Good. Then, very good, we have muscular tissue. And last tissue you don't tell, I will tell. Okay, it's a neural tissue. Neural tissue. So we have basically a 4 set of tissue. Okay. By these 4 tests, we can say the set of the tissues, our entire body is formed. Our entire body is formed. Okay. So my question is, the bone and cartilage, okay, is come under which tissue? The bone and cartilage come into the which tissue? Very good. It's come under the connective tissue. Write down. The bone and cartilage, it comes under the connective tissue. Cartilage and bone. Okay, fine. And more specifically, it's a specialized tissue. Okay, it is a specialized tissue. Specialized tissue. Cartilage and bone is our specialized tissue. Understanding? Now, let's move ahead. Okay, let's move ahead and define about the cartilage and bone. As you know that by this cartilage and the bone, we are able to stand properly. Okay, we are able to stand properly. We are able to walk. Understanding? We are able to jump. All the physical activities is due to the bone and cartilage. Okay, it's provide, we can say, one of the steady kind of structure in the humans as well as the other animals. Okay, so let's define first of all about the cartilage and then bone. Cartilage and bone. Now, my question is, why I retain on the board cartilage first, not the bone? Why? There must be any reason. The reason is, when we are in our mother uterus, or we can say when we are in the intrauterine life, okay, the first skeletal which appear is not a bone, it's a cartilage. It's a cartilage. That's why I retain first the cartilage. And in this we can say the subsequent lecture, you will come to know that from the cartilage there will be a bone formation. From the cartilage there will be a bone formation, and the formation of bone is termed as osteogenesis, or it's also called as bone ossification. Understood? Osteology and bone ossification means the formation of bone. Okay, formation of bone. So let's quickly write down the difference between the cartilage and the bone. Okay, cartilage appear first. Okay, so it's appear first of all appear first. Okay, and comparatively the bone appear secondary. Okay, it's appear at last. Clear? No problem. Now, second thing is the cartilage is soft, isn't it? Is it soft? Touch your pinna. Is it soft? Now touch your humerus bone. It's hard. So the cartilage is a soft, okay, and the bone is a hard. Understanding? Now, since it is a soft, means it's a flexible. Okay, it's a flexible. You can move the cartilage. Okay, so cartilage is a flexible. Understanding? Whereas the bone is rigid. It's a rigid. Clear? No problem. Now, what makes cartilage soft? What makes cartilage soft? Their matrix. Okay, so chondrion, write down. Chondrion is a substance present in the cartilage which makes cartilage soft and who make the bone rigid. It's their matrix. Okay, basically the calciums. Okay, calcium and their compounds that makes bone as a hard. Okay, here the matrix is soft and here the matrix is hard. Now, the another thing which we have to keep in our mind is that generally when the cartilage will break, okay, there we can say the regeneration is slow as compared to the bone. The cartilage regeneration is slow as compared to the bone. Okay, so here slow regeneration. Okay, and here the generation is comparatively quicker. Okay, so we can say fast regeneration. But both the cartilage and bone, they are, we can say, formed or originated by the activity of mesenchymal cells. Write down. Mesenchymal stem cell. Okay, do you know the meaning of a stem cell? Yeah, it's a kind of a specialized cells which has ability to form the structure. Okay, form the structure. There are different types of stem cells. Some are polyopotent, some are totipotent. Okay, so it's basically a mesenchymal stem cell which forms the cartilage and the bone. Now, come to about the cell. Okay, the cell which form the cartilage is a three types. Okay, the cell which form the cartilage is a three types, starting from the chondroblast. Write down. Chondroblast. Okay, then you have chondroclast. Okay, then you have chondrocyte. Okay, understanding? Same in the case of bone. Bones also possess the three types of cell. Okay, and their name is like the same. Here we just change the word chondro and add the osteo. So we have the osteoblast, osteoblast, okay, then we have the osteoclast, okay, then we have the osteocyte. Now they serve for their own purposes. Chondroblast, okay, they are the we can say the cartilage forming cell. Chondroblast are the cartilage forming cell. Write down, chondroblast are the cartilage forming cell, okay, whereas the chondroclast, they are the cartilage eating cell, okay, they are the cartilage eating cell. And whereas the chondrocyte, they are the metabolically active cell. They give the signals, okay, they are the master, we can say, cell in the category of cartilaginous cell. Understanding? No problem. Shall I repeat once again? Yeah. The chondroblast is basically a cartilage forming cell. Understood? Then you have the chondroclast. Okay, the clast word denotes the eating. Okay, so it's eaten the cartilage. Then you have the chondrocyte. The chondrocyte is a metabolically active, we can say, cartilage cells which give the signals to the chondroblast and chondrocyte for their differentiation, for their function. Clear? Understood? Now, the switch on and understand about these bone cells. The osteoblast, the same function. It's basically a bone formal cell. Okay, it's basically a bone formal cell. Then we have the osteoclast. It's a bone eating cell. Then we have the osteocytes, a metabolically active cell, okay, which gives the signals. You will study it in the bone ossification in detail in our subsequent lectures, okay. And you also understand that in the case of the bone fracture and bone healings, they have the role, okay, they have the role. Understand, the cartilage and bones, they are under mechanical stress continuously. Okay, you know that we are not a steady type of animals. We are a locomotory animals. Okay, we perform the locomotions. Okay, the mobilization is very much present in the case of us. Okay, and other animals. Okay, and that is also necessary for maintaining the normal physiology of human body. So due to this mechanical stress, this cartilage and bones, okay, they need to time regenerate. Okay, they time to time need the repair, we can say. Okay, that is dealt under the, we can say, basically that's a deal under the bone remodeling. Okay, bone remodeling. We will have the detailed discussion over the bone remodeling in our further lectures. Bone remodeling. And sometimes what happens, there will be a fracture. You know that fractures happen. Okay, so for the healing of the fractures, these cells, they play a great role. Okay, they play a great role. So you can write down the function. One of the function is the bone healing, or we can say the fracture healing. Okay, then about the function of chondroblast, chondroclast and chondrocyte, you just write down the one word, that there is a need for the bone formation. Okay, and bone formation is, as I said, that is termed as the osteogenesis, or we can say the ossification. Understanding? So there are two types of ossifications, the endochondral ossification and intramembranous ossification. So in the case of endochondral ossification, there will be a changes of cartilage into the bones, okay, where these cells play a role. So one of their function is, one of their function is in bone ossification, or more specifically the endochondral type of bone ossification. Write down. And also they serve for the formation, eating of the cartilage. Okay, understanding? So this is a basic difference between the bone and cartilage. Once again, just to recap quickly, cartilage is appeared first in a skeletal, okay, and the bones appear in last. Okay, then cartilage is a soft and flexible, whereas the bone is hard and rigid. Okay, they are made up by the one we can say the substance chondrions which give them this softness and flexibility, okay, whereas the bones is rigid because there is a matrix, hard matrix of the calcium. Understanding? Now there are three types of cell in the cartilage, and all are differentiated from the mesenchymal stem cell, Now the chondroblast, as I said, it's a cartilage forming cell. Then you have the chondroclast, which is basically a cartilage eating cell. Then you have the chondrocyte, which is a metabolically active, we can say, the cartilage cell. Then their other function is one of the function is the bone ossification, okay, formation of the bone. Now in the case of, we can say, the bone, there are three cells: the osteoblast, osteoclast, and osteocyte, okay. They have their own functions, and apart from that they are actively involved in the bone remodeling and fracture healing, and also in the bone ossification. Understood? Any doubt? No? So let's move ahead. Okay. Now, once we define the difference between the cartilage and bones, let's quickly understand the types of cartilage. Okay? Types of cartilage. Now, there are basically two types of cartilage. One is called hyaline cartilage, okay, and another one is called fibrous cartilage. Fibrous cartilage. Okay, the first category is the hyaline cartilage, okay, and second is your fibrous cartilage. The hyaline cartilage, write down the example, they are present in the rings of trachea and bronchi, okay, and nasal septum and sternum part of the ribs, okay. Hyaline cartilage is present in the rings of trachea and bones, okay, nasal septum and sternum part of the ribs, okay, whereas the fiber cartilage, they are the two types. Fibrous cartilage are the two types. The first is called white fibrous cartilage and second one is called the yellow fibrous cartilage. Among the white fibrous cartilage and yellow fibrous cartilage, the white fibrous cartilage is the strongest type. White fibrous cartilage is the strongest type. Understanding? Okay. So let's. The hyaline cartilage, it is present in the tip of the nose. Okay. Here they present. Okay, tip of the nose. They are present in the cartilage, we can say in the sternum part, and they are also present in the rings of the trachea. Tracheal rings is made up of by the hyaline cartilage. So these are some of the example of hyaline cartilage. Now coming to the fiber cartilage, they are divided into the two types, okay, white fibrous cartilage and yellow fibrous cartilage. White fibrous cartilage, just remember, it is a strong type of cartilage, okay, it is a strong type of cartilage, whereas the yellow fibrous cartilage as compared to this white fibrous cartilage, they are less weaker, okay, they are less weaker. Now the example of white fibrous cartilage, it is present in the pubic symphysis, okay, it is present in the pubic symphysis. Understanding? The white fibrous cartilage, they are present in the pubic symphysis. And you study about the bones of, we can say, the hip bones, okay, there is a joining okay, and that joining is called pubic symphysis, and there the pubic symphysis is present. They are also present in the pinna, here tip of the nausea, here it is present in the pinna, understanding. And the white fibrous cartilage, they are also present, white fibrous cartilage, they are also present in the sclera, white fibrous tissue, yeah, it is also present in the sclera, understanding, the part of the eye. Now about the yellow fibrous cartilage, basically yellow fibrous cartilage, they are present in the auditory canal, okay, they are present in the auditory canal. Here is no pinna, pinna is here, in the pinna of ear and auditory canal, okay. This is all about the cartilage, understanding. Now let's move ahead and define the bone in detail, okay, bone in detail. Bone, as you know, it's a heart, okay, it's a heart. So bone is one of the hardest tissue, okay. Basically the bone and cartilage are what? They are the skeletal tissue, a specialized kind of connective tissue. So about the bone, it is a hardest tissue, it is the hardest tissue, okay. These are the tag which is given to the bone. And the second tag, its bear, is it's a reservoir of which element? Very good, it's a reservoir of calcium. So calcium reservoir. You will study it why they are called calcium reservoir, because you will see during the case of bone ossification, okay, and the bone healing, or we can say the bone remodeling, there is a generation of lots of calcium which will ultimately drain into the bloodstream, understanding. Now bone is hard due to their matrix, due to their matrix, understanding, no problem. Now once you understand about the bone, okay, let's quickly, you are already, I told you about the bone cells, okay, the osteoclast, osteoblast and osteocyte. Now we will go with the microscopic structure of bone, okay, microscopic structure of bone. But for a while just understand the function. You already know about the function of the bone, but once again, first the bone, or we can say the skeletal tissue, they provide the locomotion, okay, locomotion. Second, you know that in the bone, okay, in the basically the mature long bone, there is a bone marrow, okay, bone marrow house is present in the bone marrow. So in the bone marrow there will be a formation of blood cells, or we can say the hemopoiesis, they help in the hemopoiesis. So hemopoiesis basically occur in the bone, understanding. And the other function is the support, they provide the support for the delicate organs, okay, they provide the support and also they protect. Why heart are not present above the sternum? Okay, because of their protection. They need the protection. They are a delicate organ. If they feel the jerk directly, they will, we can say, the rupture, or there will be a, we can say, injury in this delicate part. So these bones, the skeletal, basically they provide the support and the protection. Support and the protection. So these are the basically the three functions. One of these locomotion, then hemopoiesis, and support and protects. And there are other functions as well. Okay, there are other functions as well. Now Till now we studied about the histology, basically the difference between the osteology and orthopedics. We've seen the specialized kind of tissue, we've seen the cartilage bones and their cells. Okay, now we'll discuss with the last topic, that's called the microscopic structure of the bone. Okay, microscopic structure of the bone. Microscopic structure of bone. See, when you take a bone in your hand, okay, did you ever taken the bone in your hand? Yeah, suppose a leg piece, chicken leg piece. Okay, so I'm not supporting the non-veg, okay, just I'm saying. So when you take the bone in your hand, okay, you see there is a heart. Bone is actually a heart, okay, but for microscopic study we need to dissect the bone, okay, then only we are able to see the internal environment of the bone. Okay, internal environment of the bone. Suppose this is one bone, okay, this is one bone, but you cannot put it in the microscope and see it, okay, because they are covered. So you have to dissect. Once you dissect the bones, you are able to see basically this part. This is called the transverse section of the bone. So for a study of the microscopic structure of the bone, we have to first study the, yeah, very good, transverse section of the bone. Okay, transverse section of the bone. So yeah, very good. It's a periosteum. Write down. It's a periosteum. Okay. Perial osteal lining is present in the outer, we can say the outer aspect of the any bone. Okay. Then these, you are seeing this concentric layer. Okay, not continuous layer, it's a discontinuous layer, and these are these two layers, this one and these two ones, they are called the lamellae of the bone. Okay, they are called the lamellae of bone. Understanding now? This layer which is arranged, okay, in one fashion, this is your inner osteoblast layer. Write down, this is your inner osteoblast layer, and this layer, okay, this layer, it is the outer osteoblast layer. Here it is wrong, it is outer, man. It is outer. Okay, we are studying the cut section like this way. So this is outer one and this is inner one. So this is the inner osteoblast layer. Inner osteoblast layer. Okay, then you are seeing these two disc shape. Okay, they are called canal. Okay, Haversian canal. So these two, they are your Haversian canal. Haversian canal. Okay, and these layer which is present between these two lamellae, or we can say two canal, this is called the interstitial canal. Interstitial canal. Understanding? No problem. Now, this layer, as you are seeing, this is your endosteum. Write down, this is endosteum, okay, and this is the medullary canal. This is your medullary canal, which is basically internally lined by the endosteum, and this is the neurovascular tissue, or we can say the bone marrow. Okay, neurovascular tissue or the bone marrow. About the bone marrow initially they are present in intrauterine life, they are present in all the bones, okay, but after the birth, or we can say the bone becomes the mature, they shifted into the long bones. Understanding? The bone marrow, they are only present in the long bones when bones become the mature, okay. So generally bone marrow are two types. Okay, bone marrow are two types. The one is called, we can say, yellow bone marrow, which is present initially, yellow bone marrow, and one is called red bone marrow. Okay, clear? In this bone marrow house, there is a formation of the bloods. There will be a formation of the blood. Now, once again, we are discussing the microscopic structure of the bone, and as I said, for studying the microscopic structure of bone, you need to dissect the bone. For dissection of the bones, we have to study the transverse section of the bone. So for the transverse sections, bone appears like this. The first layer, as you are able to see, is a periosteal layer. It's the hardest layer of the bone, okay. Then in between these, we can say the osteoblast layer, there will be a presence of lamellae of the bone. There will be presence of the lamellae of the bones, and there is a, we can say, the centric arrangement of the osteoblast. So this is present outer aspect, they are called the outer osteoblast layer, okay, and there will be the another layer which is present inner aspect, so they are called as the inner osteoblast layer. Then there will be a two canal. This canal is named as a Haversian canal, okay, and in between the canal there will be a one, we can say, the joining or a small presence of the small canal which link between these two canal, that is called the interstitial canal, okay. Then you have the endomestrial cavity, okay, endomestrial cavity, and inside this there will be a neuroepithelial, that is your bone marrow. And bone marrow are the two types, yellow bone marrow and red bone marrow, okay. And as I said, after the birth, the bone marrow are only, we can say, restricted in the long bones. Once you studied the microscopic, we can say, the transverse section of the bones, now it's time to discuss the microscopic structure of the bone, okay, microscopic structure of the bone. So it is a structure of one long bone, okay. Take the example, it's your femur, okay, it's your femur bone. Now the first membrane, as you are seeing, which covers the entire bone, this red one, this is your, yeah, very good, it's your hard covering of the bone, that's your periosteum. Periosteum. Understanding? No problem. Now these part of the bone, the upper part and this lower part, they are termed as epiphyses of the bone. They are termed as the epiphyses of the bone. Epiphyses, okay. This is also your epiphyses. Understanding? No problem. Now generally in the long bones, the spongy part, okay, which where the matrix is soft, okay, less matrix, they are present at the ends of the bone. So these parts is called the spongy part, so they are called as spongy bone. Spongy bone. Spongy bone, and this part is termed as the shaft. This is called the shaft of the bone, okay. This is called as the diaphysis. This part is called as the diaphysis. In the children's, there will be a presence of the growth plate. There will be a presence of a growth plate. Okay, at the two end, this is your growth plate. And this area where the growth plate is present, this area is called as metaphysis. Write down metaphysis. Okay, and this is called the growth plate. Even though in the adults this growth plate will be fused with the epiphysis and there will be a stoppage of the growth, but if there will be any fracture, the clinical correlations related with this part is that if there will be any fracture on this area, then the bone, we can say the healing or bone formation or proper alignment of the bone will be impaired. Okay, will be impaired. So that's one clinical correlation. Now come to this area. As you are seeing, it's a dense. Okay, this part of the bone is called as compact bone. This is called as compact bone because here the matrix are dense. Okay, here the matrix are dense. Then in this compact area there will be a presence of one cavity. This cavity is called, very good, it's called as the medullary cavity. Medullary cavity. And this medullary cavity is lined, okay, it is lined internally by one membrane, and this membrane, this yellow membrane is called endosteum. Okay, this is called endosteum. And this medullary canal, in this medullary canal there will be a neuroepithelial tissue. That's your the bone marrow. That's your bone marrow. Now there will be an opening for the blood vessels, nerve vessels. Okay, we can say the nerves, blood vessels, and also the lymphatics. Okay, lymphatics, blood vessels all comes here. The artery which supply this medullary canal, they are called as nutrient artery. Write down, this is important. Nutrient artery. Understood? And you know that there is a very peculiar, we can say, the supply of the bone. From the hair there will be a origins of, we can say, the artery which supply the periosteum, that's called the periosteal artery. Then there will be a metaphyseal artery, and these metaphyseal artery, as they go above, they make one special kind of blood supply, okay, which have very clinical correlations, and this type of is called the pinhole blood supply. Okay, it's called the pinhole blood supply. In the case of osteomyelitis, did you heard about this disease? Myelitis. The bacteria will come here, and due to this pinhole, there will be a less blood force in this area. So bacteria will love to settle in this area, that is in the growth plate. Okay, and there will be an inflammation, okay, followed by the pus formation and the abscess, and that condition is called the osteomyelitis. Osteo means bone, myelitis means bone marrow, and itis denotes inflammation. So osteomyelitis is basically an inflammation of bone and bone marrow. It's a very deadly condition, deadly disease. Okay, so it is the microscopic structure of long bone. Once again, the microscopic structure of the bones, they are covered outwardly by the periosteum, okay, and generally in the epiphyseal area there is a less dense matrix, and that's why they are called as a spongy bone. Okay, this above part and distal part of the bone, they are called as the epiphysis, whereas the shaft of the bone is called the diaphysis, and in the case of children there is the presence of growth plate, and this area is called as the metaphysis. Understood? Then there will be a articulation membrane at both the end of the bone, okay, which articulate with the subsequent bone. Then the part of the bone which is the densely packed, this is called as the compact bone, and here there will be a presence of medullary canal, and inside the medullary canal they are lined by the endometrium. Okay, and in the medullary canal there is a presence of we can say the neuroepithelial tissue or your bone marrow, and here is the invasion of blood vessel, lymphatics and nerves. And as I said, the blood supply is called as the nutrient artery. It has so many branches. Some of are the metaphyseal artery, some of the periosteal artery, and they make the pinhole arrangement in the growth plate. Okay, and there is one disease called osteomyelitis. Understanding this osteomyelitis is inflammation of bone and bone marrow. Bacteria love to settle in this area because there is a less force on this bone, because here is the hole formation. Understood? So by this we concluded our today's class. We studied about the basic difference between the bones and the cartilage. Then we defined the difference between the cartilage and the bone. Okay, then we studied about the cartilaginous cells and bone cells. Okay, then we studied about the bones. Okay, and after that we studied the microscopic structures of the bones. So before describing the microscopic structure of the bones, we had discussion over the transverse section of bone, and then we defined the microscopic structure of the bone. Okay, so in the next part of the osteology we will discuss about the entire bones. Okay, the bone classification, their types, okay, and their anatomical, we can say, the alignment in our body. Hope you understood today class. So thank you with having me. Bye. Have a nice